My name is Bobby Bullard. My wife, Nan, and I have just recently taken over as directors of Partners in Ministry. Years ago, I had a dramatic life event that caused me just to look at my life in a totally different way. From that moment, I've had this one prayer that God, when I see you face to face in less than 100 years, I want to know I went the way you wanted me to go and not the way that I wanted to go. God began answering this prayer by sending me the most God-fearing, most unselfish, most in love with Jesus person I'd ever met. She's my beautiful wife and my life partner in this adventure. We can see God's plan for us is to love on our children and to train them and listen to God's calling on their hearts. This ministry is priority and ongoing, but God has blessed us recently with the honor of being directors of Partners in Ministry. Partners in Ministries was started over 30 years ago by Tom and Lucy Belt, and the partners through the years have supported missionaries all over the world, and it's just been an incredible testimony in my life. So this is such an honor. Over the past several months, God has been swelling an excitement in Nan and I's hearts that He's called us for a time such as this. Currently, Partners in Ministry is supporting 23 missionaries. It is our goal to not only expand this number, but to develop a caring network that stays in touch and encourages our current missionaries. Right now, through the work of these precious people, many people are coming to the knowledge of the salvation of Jesus Christ. And if we can increase this number, imagine the potential of this incredible ministry. This past summer, on our King's Kids mission trip, God used a subtle moment to refine my view of Partners in Ministry. We were passing out food to the drug addicts and homeless who lived in a massive trash dump in Mexico. I grabbed Ezra, one of the young men who was with us, and we set out amongst the swarming flies, huge piles of garbage, and the overwhelming stench of burning plastic to follow a nudge in my heart to go to what looked like the last shelter on top of the hill. As we walked along, we smiled and acknowledged the groups of men who had already been fed, standing next to their makeshift homes created out of collected garbage. As we went, the men saw where we were headed, and they urged us on by waving and pointing further up the hill. Higher and higher, smokier and smokier we went. And finally, at what looked like the end of hell itself was the last shelter. Ezra and I approached slowly and we shouted, "Hola!" Nothing happened. We went closer again. We shouted, "Hola!" Still no answer. We waited. Surely God did not prompt us to walk all the way up here and no one be here. But just as we started to turn around and head back down, out emerged from the makeshift garbage shelter two men, completely destitute and hungry. From behind their shamed and humble eyes, smiles of true thankfulness came from their faces. Ezra and I stayed a moment. We used our best Spanish to tell them that Jesus loved them, and we prayed for them. As we started back down, I was overwhelmed with the presence of God. It was at that moment I will never forget, where you just know you're right where God wants you to be. Then I looked, and there it was, a little blue plastic cross with an image of Jesus inlaid there in the middle of the garbage at my foot. I stopped, I reached down, I picked it up, and I gazed at the realization of the holiness of the moment. So I handed it to Ezra, and I said, "Ezra, the presence of Jesus is everywhere." It was at that moment that God spoke to me about Partners in Ministry. He is telling us that as partners, He has His eyes on all of His precious people. There are people all over the world who've never heard about Jesus. And there are others at the edge of what seems like hell itself, like those men, that are yearning for His love. And our missionaries are reaching those people. Please join us for a time such as this. There will be many names written in the Lamb's Book of Life as a result of what we're doing here. would you please join Nan and I and Tom and Lucy and the board as we covenant together to expand this incredible ministry. It would be our ultimate dream to support hundreds of missionaries. 99% of all the money donated to Partners in Ministry goes directly to the missionaries on the front line. We covenant with you to give our very best to carry on this incredible legacy of partnering with God's precious missionaries here and all over the world to reach as many people with the saving knowledge of Jesus as possible. God bless you as you pray about what God would call you as a role in Partners in Ministry. Thanks so much.